So welcome to the Fellas Corners podcast, where we talk about news, entertainment, and all the above. I am your host, D. OG is actually on vacation right now, but he will be back next episode. Let this rock. Okay. I have a special guest here today. We have Carmen from the Journey of a Black Elephant podcast. Before she comes on, I listen to this podcast. It's one of the best, y'all. I listen to it. I'll tell you, I was walking, running, yelling with the kids with this podcast on. I wanted to beat my kids with this podcast. I heard that first episode. I actually heard the last episode. It was entertaining. So Carmen from the Journey of a Black Elephant podcast. How you doing?
I'm great. Thank you for having me on.
Thank you. You in Texas right now, right?
I am in hot, smoldering heat, Texas.
I tell you, we in Rhode Island right now. It's hot over here too.
Like I can't. If I can swing it, I don't leave my house until after 6 because it's too much.
After 6?
That heat is super disrespectful.
Texas has one of the best clubs out there. What do you mean after 6? You got to go to the house after that.
No, I mean like if I'm going out to like the store. I mean anything. I'm not leaving the house till 6. Nah, it's too hot.
My mom lives in Georgia right now, and I tell you, when I used to stay in Georgia, I used to have to go early in the morning, 6 o'clock in the morning, just to mow the lawn. Is the same thing in Texas?
Oh, definitely. We wake up and it's already 7, 8 o'clock and it's already about 79 degrees. So there's that. Like the high at night is like 82 for no reason.
Jeez, AC must be beaming.
Always.
I know you guys had a lot of news from Texas. Meg Thee Stallion.
Yeah, when I heard about the whole Meg Thee Stallion thing with Tory Lanez, I was like, really? That's where we're going with this? You know what I mean? It just kind of seemed like nobody really took it serious. I don't know if it's because she got just shot in the foot, but nobody seemed to take it serious. There was so many memes joking about it. I'm like, really? That's what we're doing? Okay.
So you know what? You just rolled out. Are we failing our black queens? That's the question. Are we failing our black queens?
I never want to place blame on either side of the spectrum, right?
Yeah.
But to a degree, it's sometimes seen as, you know what I'm saying, black women, we always ready to ride, right?
Yeah.
Whenever something goes down, we out there, we on the front line.
Yes, you are.
Now, when it happens on the other side, it's kind of like it's a joke. So you have to kind of ask yourself, like, do our black men ride for us as much as we ride for them? That is something,
because that is a good question. I always wonder, because you know what? I can tell you this right now. I had multiple relationships, whether it's white, Spanish. I tell you, the black ones, my black queens, they ride to the death. It's a different type of relationship when you're with a black queen, I tell you. So I don't understand it either.
And the thing about that is I always look at that, right? You always look at why that is. For me, sometimes I'll ask my friends, like, why? Why are you staying with him? What is that? You know what I mean? Like, he's no good. He's, you know what I'm saying? Not really there for you.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? With a long list of things. And you're like, why? Because I love him.
Because I love him. That's always the answer. You know what it is? It starts when you're young. I always have this motto. You show your black kids how to love a black queen, and when they grow up, they'll always love their black queens. And that's simple as that. If you start showing them you got to love your black queen, love them the right way, it'll change this whole mentality they have right now. So I always say that,
I definitely think that. actually last week did a Talking Back Culture episode. And in that episode, I actually said, you know what I'm saying, you learn to communicate about what you see, right? How did your parents communicate? And that goes on so many levels when we're talking about things like this, right?
Yep.
Because what a child misses or sees during their upbringing, that stays with that child's core, right?
Yep.
So when we're in these relationships, it's not just about your partner. You got to look at what you're showing your kid. Like, what are they taking from what they see? And I definitely agree with that. That is something that we definitely, I think, need to pay more attention to.
Yes, it is. I can tell you this right now. When I was young, I was in high school, and a lot of people have this same experience. That a lot of people, I'm not going to say everyone, but a lot of people have the same experience. I used to have the biggest crush on this girl. She was black. She didn't give me no time of the day. And I always say, when after high school, when you go to college, you mostly will predominantly see someone white. And I always say this, that at the time, and I used to have more attention from the white girls than the black girls. And there's nothing wrong with that. And I really didn't care nothing about that. But as I grow up, I always say the black queens have more in common than most of the time the other side. I don't know if you agree with that or not, but as I said before, I always felt that they was brought up differently. And I don't know if it was more of a safety thing, but I always had more in common with my black queens than the other side. Even though in probably the last 3 relationships, it was all the whites on there.
Mm-hmm. I think with that, when you look at it, whether we all realize it or not, especially in our black community, is really the thought of Pan-Africanism, because we all share a shared experience. You can meet someone for the first time and talk about your upbringing, and we all know, you know what I mean? Like, if you know, you know. So it's like we share this experience and this bond because we're literally, for the most part, brought up the same.
Yep.
I think when it comes to other cultures or whatever, bonding with other cultures is great. You know what I mean? You get to see a different perspective, but then you have that other side that's like, they get it because went through the same struggles or seen their mom going through the same struggles, so they can relate.
Yep.
I think definitely in college, though, I will say this. I've gone to a PWI and an HBCU.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know what I mean? I had the dating experience of both. For me personally, it was an experience, let's say that, especially at the PWI, because I was seen as the nerdy girl who liked anime, played video games, you know what I'm saying, was into like emo music and stuff like that. So I was able to connect on, I guess, an entertainment level with my surroundings, right? But when I got to that HBCU, it was a whole cultural connection. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
So it's definitely a difference. You know what I'm saying? I definitely think there's a difference when we're talking about a cultural connection versus, I don't know, like a hobby connection or you can definitely have mental connections as well, but there's definitely a difference.
You know what I mean? I always notice every time I go inside a white relationship with someone, I'm always the token black guy. Now, it's one of those things I'm always talking about. I used to go to parties, token black guy. When I used to go to the family, they talk about how much they love the Trump, I tell you. Token black guy. I'm the guy that had to argue with them maybe 5 seconds. Token black guy. Even I tell a story which kind of changed the whole mentality when it comes to dating. I told you I was breaking bread with the father, breaking bread with the uncle. And one of them, they actually they gave me a picture. They was like, oh, this is from my great-grandfather. To this day, I remember this. I remember the picture said, hey, Dad, they didn't station me with any black guys this time. To this day. So when I saw that, it was, as you said before, it was a cultural difference. So obviously, their culture is a little different. They was taught the hate on there, but obviously they might have changed or whatever, but it was always me being the token black guy. And I always felt that every time I go somewhere, I always have to worry about you almost have to interview the room, say who's the one who I got to watch out for. So it's always a culture issue. And in the beginning, when I was in college, I always thought I felt a black woman. So at the end of the day, even dating a white girl, even dating a Spanish girl, I always felt, you know what? I always love my black queens, but I always revert back to the others. I always felt that way.
You know, when you look at that, like when it comes to failing, right? And I'm using air quotes. Can't see it, but I'm using air quotes.
Air quotes.
When it comes to failing the black woman, if we even look, you know what I'm saying? This isn't something that just our generation is battling with, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because if you look back, Malcolm X even said the most disrespected person in America is the black woman.
Yes, it is.
The most unprotected person in America is the black woman, and the most neglected is the black woman. And, you know, I remember being young. I'm going to tell you a story. I remember being young, and I was probably about 17 years old. I got my first boyfriend. And I remember my grandmother looking at me and saying, you know, that man can walk away at any time. She's like, you got to know how to take care of yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't get it then, right? But even then, and being young and watching these strong black women around me, I ended up taking on this strong woman persona, right? And I think a lot of sisters will agree with that.
Yes,
we are really raised to be able to stand on our own 2 feet. And not that that is a bad thing at all, but it rolls back to knowing that, you know what I'm saying, you got to have your own self. And I think that definitely created a type of division, right?
Yep.
Because I hear men say it all the time, especially black men. But it's not just black men either. It's like, it's a stereotype across the races.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
I think it was a article in a psychology magazine a while back. They took it down after it got a lot of backlash. But this doctor actually said that black women are the least attractive women. You know what I'm saying? Across the races, and we're the hardest to date.
You know,
when I read that,
that's crazy. Because you know the funny thing about that, I always wonder. The white women will go out with any black man. I tell you, there's a lot of white women go out with black men, but I don't see too many. And it's some few of white men dating black women, and it's just a few I see. And obviously, that used to always, they used to get on my nerve a lot because it always tend to be. I had a couple of white friends at the time, and I always have them mama on their breath. Well, that's the prettiest black girl I've ever seen. Like they never seen a pretty black girl before, and then why it had to be the prettiest black girl I've ever seen.
Right.
You know what? I always say depiction in the media, you have to have blonde hair, blue eyes. And they never depict our queens like the Beyoncés of the world or the Patti LaBelles of the world. Because I tell you, Patti LaBelle is beautiful. I tell you, but Patti LaBelles of the world, they always try to depict Julia Roberts or who else? The Angelina Jolie. I don't even think Angelina Jolie to have nothing on Patti LaBelle, but they depict that on the media, and I get really annoyed and angered by that whole situation.
You know, I'm gonna tell you what kind of pisses me off when it comes to media, right? I'm not gonna name names.
Name them.
All right, that Jenner clan and Kardashian clan.
Taking all the black men, I tell you.
Not even that. The men that they choose, you know what? Keep them, sis. But what pisses me off is they take so much from our culture and sell it back.
But you know but that's normal. But you know that's normal, right? They take the culture. They use it just like music. They say pop star. Think about what pop star. Pop star mean popular. Now everyone knows that hip hop is popular right now. So, but for some reason, every time you get to these music shows, they always want the country song to win, regardless of how horrible some of the. They want the country song to win because they do not like that hip hop is one of the most popular music right now.
Exactly, and see that's the disrespect that Malcolm was talking about, because you have these culture vultures come into, and they see different things that we do, especially with black women, how we do our hair, how we do this, how we do that. And then it's like, for you to do it, that's furry. But a black woman does it, she's ghetto.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that's the disrespect. Like, you're coming into our culture and, I'm going to say, borrowing to be nice and borrowing things, but a Black woman doesn't. It doesn't have the same impact.
So now the question is how do we fix it? Because is Black men really failing Black queens?
I think if we're being 100% honest, I don't know how many women are going to light me up because of this comment. I personally think we're failing each other.
Mm-hmm.
This isn't just a Black man versus, it really is a Black man versus a Black woman thing. But I think on both sides we need healing. Because, you know what I'm saying? Another thing that I think our society has done, and it's a lot of damage with that, is colorism, right?
Oh, yeah.
So, especially in rap and hip hop, you hear like Lil Wayne, I like a long hair, thick, red bone, right? So, it's like, it's so many little divisions in our community that I think the first thing we need to do is look at both sides. We have to stop blaming each other. Because yes, there are things that Black women do that we need to work on. And there are things that Black men need to work on as well. I won't say that it's a failure. I'll more say it's an education process.
So you basically...
I'll even knock it down to that.
So I always say that, is it the Sierra effect?
Explain that to me.
So think about the Sierra effect. She went out with Future first. And then she went out with Russell Wilson. And I point back to back in the day, a lot of, and I'm not saying everyone, well, I know a lot of women who rather the Futures of the world than the Russell Wilsons. They love they thought it was security than the goofy little Black kid who knows more about books than anything else. So that's the question. Is it the Future effect or is it the Sierra effect?
But see, you got to look at that too, because growing up, especially like in the 90s, what do we see? Ballers, right?
Uh-huh.
All these rappers were ballers. And then we seen Black men try to like copy that, right? Yep. So then in return, you know what I'm saying? That was the go-to. You know what I mean? Is really looking at the culture and the society and what we really want. I think now, especially since we've been in quarantine for a couple of months, I've been seeing it all on my timeline. You got people really getting into their bag, right? Everybody's trying to find their niche, trying to find their thing. And it's like we're evolving past just looking straight at money. You know what I mean? Like not too long ago, B. Simone she got dragged on Instagram.
Don't like a 9 to 5.
Twitter. Yeah. Like that, like seriously, you're going to down the people that really help bring you up. Like that's crazy to me. You know what I mean? So it's now looking at, okay, so it's like, it doesn't matter how much money he makes, is he a good dude or not?
Oh, yeah.
So I think now like that we're becoming more, and that's what I'm really loving about 2020. It's causing a lot of people to look inwardly because you have nothing else to do.
You got nothing else to do but look inwardly.
Right. So looking at what you really want, not what has been portrayed or pushed on us. So I think that's definitely a thing. 2020
is one of those years that I get to figure out who is hiding and who is not hiding, especially with the whole November coming up and the votes coming up. A lot of people have been unfriending a lot of people on social media because I want to see who's rocking with the Trump over here. I love seeing who's rocking with Trump. I ain't gonna lie to you. It's the funniest thing in the world.
When it comes to politics and it comes, especially right now with Black Lives Matter, every time I, look around, somebody talking about it and the call to defund the police, it's very interesting to see exactly who you have in your circle.
Oh, yeah.
I remember when things really popped off after the George Floyd murder. I remember looking down my timeline at some of my closest friends, like, you are way too quiet for my liking.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? And it kind of puts you at a point where you have to be like, are you going to deal with complacency or not? Because that plays a part too. We're so quick to be like, oh, this person is my friend, or, you know what I'm saying, they've been rocking with me forever. But if they don't really stand with what you stand for, you have to look at that as, what are you really saying?
Oh, yeah. I had a lot of friends who I tell you, Black, Spanish, white, who big on Donald Trump. and they don't care about the bigoted. They don't care about the conversation he had. They don't care about anything. As soon as they see police injustice or even racism or Karens in the world, they're quiet as can be. Won't say nothing about it. But soon as Donald Trump says something, they're big on trying to defend the guy. So I know what you mean.
And I look at people like that. Like, how can you defend this administration right now? Like, I actually seen somebody on my page the other day, and they posted and was like, "How are we blaming someone who's never been in office before until he got elected president versus not blaming Congress?" Like, you can't make this stuff up. Like,
you can't make it up. I seen this guy blame.
Like, what do you mean?
I seen this guy blame Obama more than anybody else. I didn't know Obama had 3 terms, but he blamed Obama more than anyone else. Now
for everything.
Now, you saw the Kanye West rant on the weekend?
I did, and that low key broke my heart.
Oh, you did too.
It broke my heart because a lot of people are clowning, and you know what I'm saying. First of all, we know that Kanye has like bipolar disorder and depression. What we've seen over the weekend, like, you know, when they first said Kanye was running for president, I got pissed. I'm like, okay, this is a diversion to wipe away votes that could be used for Biden, and Trump is going to get back in office.
Of course.
That was my first thought. Like, are y'all serious right now? Then, you know, we see this rally and we hear the comments that he makes about Harriet Tubman, what he says about his daughters, how he literally attacked a black woman for wearing a mask when there was white men right beside her who had on masks as well.
But do you think it's a rollout? It almost seems like it's a rollout. His album's coming out this Friday, so it has to be. Every time he goes on his episodes, is a rollout for something.
You know, I want to put it on that, but part of me is like, Kanye tweeted a while back that he was going to run for president for 2020.
Oh yeah.
So I'm like, but my biggest question is still why? Why now? Right? We're a couple of months before the election, and now you want to come out and really state your platform.
I don't know.
So I'm like, why?
Yeah,
right.
I always say, because I talk about this in the last podcast, I think they give a good tax break. I really feel like they gave him a good tax break, and then it's almost like Trump said, you know, every certain amount of days, I need you to come out and perform. I feel like it's a tax break. Pretty much.
I think it was reported that he got that $10,000 for the PPE.
Mm-hmm.
And that pissed me off. I'm like, he's a millionaire. Why didn't that go to somebody's small business? And that's one thing that we have to look at. Like, what is Trump exchanging, right, for support? What is he doing to keep these people who obviously got to see that this guy is the absolute worst president in history? And that's saying a lot.
You know, a lot of people, for some reason, and they swear he's not the worst, but he's the worst president in the world.
Oh, definitely. Definitely. He's got us basically banned from almost every country. The Corona Task Force, if you even want to call it that, has basically left Americans on their own, right? I think last week Pence was like, we don't want the CDC guidelines to determine if schools are going to open up or not. What do you mean? You know what I mean? It's kind of now like you got to choose if you're going to send your kid back or if you're going to homeschool them without any assistance from the government. And it's like, so y'all really going to hang us out the jar like that? And nobody's really saying anything about it. Like, it's baffling. So I'm like, what favors is this man doing to get people on his side and do exactly what he wants? Like, what is he trading away?
He's trading away those votes that he getting some type of tax break. And I always say that it's almost like every time Kanye West do something, they try to reverse it and have Kim Kardashian do something else, whether it's freeing someone, whether it's talking about something or just going right on there. Soon as this finish, I guarantee the next season talking about how Kanye West went crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Next season,
they said he went up to his ranch, and I think that's when he went on that Twitter rant. Um, and he said that he's been trying to get a divorce from Kim. So I'm like, what's going to be the excuse this time, though? Is it going to be his mental illness? Is it really going to be a thing? So you kind of, I don't know. I'm really anxious to see how this plays out. I hope if Kanye really does need that help, that they get it for him, and the people that's around him aren't just like, oh, that's just Kanye. You know what I mean?
Do you hear when he say he's on Get Out?
Yeah. I was like, oh. He said something like, we know the movie Get Out was about me, or something like that. And I was
Yes,
like, well, you know.
Said the movie.
We made that assessment a whole long time ago, bro. But thanks for coming up to speed.
It is saying something. The Kardashians and the Jenners, they can't keep a man for some reason. We cannot keep him.
Those group of women. They are, you know, I've had this talk about the whole Jenner Kardashian thing with different people, and they all have different points of view. You know, you hear the people that's like, well, you know what I'm saying, they're making their money. You can't really knock them for that. And you have the people that's just like, they get on their nerves. You have people that just like absolutely love them. Yeah, I don't see the appeal, but you know what I mean? I think is really interesting to me that they love the culture so much. They love Black men so much. And you kind of look at them like, what are you really doing, though?
I don't
Besides
see
making
anything.
Pepsi commercials.
Well,
that did absolutely nothing for us.
Oh, yeah. My question is, we have so many TV shows, whether it's Keeping Up the Kardashians, where they have hip-hop, Growing Up Hip-Hop, what is it, Love and Hip-Hop. They do you feel like they depict us or depict the Black woman badly with those shows?
I'm not gonna lie. In my early 20s, I loved Love and Hip Hop. Right? Mm-hmm. It was funny. It was ratchet. Got the daily dose of. And as I got older, I'm like, and this is why, you know what I'm saying? You see racists who automatically have these stereotypes about us. Yep. You know what I mean? Because this is what's depicted. Like, can I get a reality show about a Black girl who's working, going to school, and you know what I'm saying? Like, can I get a positive image reality show about Black people? Because this ain't it. You know what I mean? And people sometimes mistake ratings versus reality. And it's like, what are we really showing? And then we see this on TV, our younger girls see this, and it's like, that's what they aspire to because that's what they see. And representation matters on all fronts.
Yeah, I remember when I was young, it used to be the videos, the music videos. That was a big thing. Mm-hmm. Music videos. And now it's Instagram. Instagram is a big thing, especially with those shows and everything like that, is Instagram. And I don't have a daughter. And I always feel like when I have a daughter, it's going to be a scary time because I already see with the men. I would say the little kid, the Black men, I feel like they're seeing too many things on TV, how to treat someone. And I hopefully I try to teach them the right way and kind of figure it out and try to teach them how to love someone the right way. So I always say that those movies, not even the movies, it's more the TV shows, the VH1s of the world, is depicting us wrong.
I don't think we can discount movies either.
Well, if you think about it, they're starting to do a better job with movies. I just obviously it's not that much Black stars in movies. That's my big thing too. But they start doing. I just don't see too much. And as I said before, they doing a lot of colorism. They change. A lot of people they say that some people are supposed to be a Black actor. They make it a white actor. But movies are tough. You know who I love the most in movies? Regina King. She's the best. Yeah. I tell you, she's one of the best. And it's a Black woman. You ever watched The Watchmen?
Actually, no, I haven't seen that one.
Oh, you gotta watch The Watchmen. One of the best. Okay. You gotta watch Watchmen. If it's what is it, on HBO or it was one of those things. Yeah, I got someone else login, so it's one of those things. I just kind of sneakily put it on my TV show. It's not my login. I ain't paying for it. But I love The Watchmen. You got to have a good watch one there for about a good week to watch Watchmen. Now I watch The Chi too, but The Watchmen is one of the best. But Regina King.
Definitely do that.
Oh yeah.
When it comes to, I guess, black actresses, I'm always here for Angela Bassett.
Oh yeah.
That
Oh yeah.
woman is phenomenal. I love her to death.
I love Angela
You
Bassett.
know what? Since we were just talking about movies, I had a conversation. I want to see what you think about this, right? So we were talking about loving basketball because that was supposed to depict finding love in the most unreal place, right, with your
Yeah.
best friend or
Hmm.
whatever. So I posed the question: was Quincy toxic?
Ooh.
And my homegirl was like, no. What did Quincy do? It was, Sanaa Lathan's character. She was the one who messed up. I was like, what she do? Serious, that's a serious question. And loving basketball, do you think Quincy was toxic?
I don't know if he was toxic. It seemed like he was broken more than toxic. So I would say when you're broken, you can't be in a relationship when you're broken. Think about
I
August
agree.
Alsina. He's broken. You
Oh.
can't be in a relationship when you're broken. So think about it. You cannot be in a relationship when you're broken. I remember this, and this is the big reason why if you break up with someone, don't go in a relationship so quickly. Because a lot of people, what they do, they break up with someone and they go in a relationship in 2 seconds. And they didn't heal themselves. Ayala and Vont said you got to heal before you can't try to heal someone else. So I think he was broken. Obviously, he probably thought his dad was the best. His dad was slinging around. It's a basketball player. He was going around, sleeping around. I think he was broken. I don't know about toxic. Why do you think he was toxic?
The reason I say he was toxic, okay, so even before, like if you look at it, right? So one, when he went and wanted to talk about his dad or whatever, right? And she's like, she had curfew. She had to go, right? Because she was starting. What did he do? The next time she went over, he with a whole nother chick already.
Oh yeah, like 2 days.
Right? Like
2 days.
Because she didn't have time.
Yeah.
Or like when they came into the party and he was drinking and they was like, yo, your girl's starting. Like, what's up? And he's like, that's what's up. You know what I mean? Like, he didn't even really want to celebrate
Didn't
with
even
her,
care.
right?
He like, oh, what up?
Didn't even care. And then, let's see. Like, I mean, it was just little things within that. Like, they walking through the quad together, girl, hey, Q. And he like, hey, what's up? Like, right in front of his chick, though. Like, I didn't think, I'm like, he was a look. But we can definitely put that on his upbringing because what did his father show him? You know what I mean? But I was like, I feel like he was the movie villain.
He was definitely broken, I tell you. And at the same time, she's that's the Black Queen. She stand up, she fight what she was. She really wanted. Tyra Banks ain't got nothing on her. Tyra Banks is all in the way.
Not in that movie.
No,
for real.
Oh no. Now a lot of people still saying Sanaa Lathan bit Beyonce, but that's another story. Like, you can't be biting the Queen Bee over here.
Yeah, can't do that.
You can't bite Queen Bee. That one. You can't. You can't go. But Solange, you're lucky Solange was there. Solange would have whooped that ass. I tell you, you can't bite Queen Bee.
Ain't no joke.
Now,
Solange ain't no joke.
Who you think? And I argued about this in the last podcast. Who you think we should look up to with all these celebrities and everything? I don't
believe we.
You don't believe what?
As far as what? Like, I don't believe we should look up to any celebrity. But
see, that's why you're a Black queen. Because I don't think these celebrities are crazy.
They're human, for one. Like, and I say this all the time on my podcast. Like, we're human, we're flawed. So the analogy of you got people that inspire you, right?
Mm-hmm.
I definitely have people that, inspire me and motivate me to do what I do. But looking up to people, nah.
No, you can't look up to them.
Nah, can't do it.
A lot of people try to look up to Will and Jada, and look at how that happened. Messy as can be.
Can I just say I applaud them for the show that they gave us on the Red Talk?
Oh yeah.
Red Table Talk. Like, let's give them that.
I wonder if they're gonna win an Oscar for that one.
I mean, Will definitely should.
He should. That guy was about to. I felt like the meme when Smokey was talking to Debo. He's like, he gonna cry in the car.
And when I started watching it, and you just see that pain and anger in his face, you're like, damn, okay. You know what I mean? And then you start listening, And that's where what he was sitting there portraying, that hurt, that anger, is like, okay, so first of all, this happened a while ago, but you're still holding some type of resentment towards your wife. But at the same time, it's like, he's like, okay, but what did you do? Like he basically forced Jada to, own up to her accountability.
Oh, yeah.
And in that moment when Jada was like, we were both supposed to go find our own happiness, I don't think Will thought she was going to find her happiness entangled with August, but, it happened.
She found something, though.
She found something, definitely. But to me, it was just, looking at them and everything like that. Like, most couples that are in the limelight, you hear something about. We heard about Jay cheating on Beyonce.
Uh-huh.
You got the Will and August thing. And it's like, we say, okay, that's the type of black love we want, right? But you don't really know what those people had to go through to get there or what they're going through.
My thing is, I don't know how Will is stronger than me. Because if my girl tell me that she was sleeping around with somebody, I think I'd be crying. Yeah, I don't see. That's why women are stronger. Guys cannot take that type of
type of pain.
Oh, no, we can't take that pain.
Okay, so let me ask you a question. Would you have stayed though? If your girl was completely honest, like, look, I wasn't happy. We were separated. I found love in this person, but that wasn't it. So I came back over here.
I can't stay.
Would you?
No, you know why? It's not about the love, because you obviously will love that person regardless. But thinking about it every single time, that you know what, and you're always gonna try to make her happy, and you can never make someone fully happy. So I always say
that is true.
I cannot do it. It's tough. It's tough. Now, would you rather them not telling you or tell you? That's really the question.
I would want to know.
You don't want to know?
No, I want to know. I'm not Mario Winans. Tell me.
I don't want to know.
Nah, come tell me, bro.
But what if you're in a relationship 5 years? It's going great. Everything is going great. But that one time, especially probably in the beginning, one time, by 5 months while you're in the relationship, he slipped up but he never did it again. What will happen?
I would.
That's a tough one.
See, it is a tough one, but my first question is going to be why. Like, I always want to know the why behind stuff, not really nothing else. Like, why did you decide to step out?
So, some people for some reason in their minds, they think the first 3 months is really not a relationship. Even if you go on a date, even if you do stuff with them, they always think that first 3 months. People think that. People think that.
Is it though? Because think about it. When you first meet somebody, right? You're like, damn, this person is dope as hell. You tend to put on that receptionist face, and you know what I'm talking about, right? Like, that's that certain things you let slide, you know what I mean? You like, okay, don't know how I feel about that yet. Or you overlook certain things, oh, I really like this person, that's fine. Mm-hmm. And then you hit about, because you can only pretend for so long.
Oh, yeah.
All right? So then you hit about that 5th, 6th month. And then you're like, okay, so that's really you. Now we're really dating.
I always say they don't.
Somebody receptionist first.
They don't change their ways until you move in with them. I always feel that.
Oh man, that.
Oh, that's a tough one. I had so many. I remember when I had a girl, and she changed her way until you move in. And I tell you, it was like the worst experience. That was a long time ago though, but it was the worst experience. They don't start changing until you move in with them, or you got to get them mad, get them drunk and get them mad. They start saying the words that you say, okay, I hear you.
It becomes a petty battle at that point. But, I think if you're going to be with somebody long term, I definitely think you have to, because you really don't know somebody until you move in with them or you experience them in different situations.
True.
So I've never understood the whole, let's wait till we get married to move in with each other. You may move in with them and then be like, yeah, no, this ain't it.
It's most of the time, it's never it. It's relationships, and I'm very proud that I found someone right now that's one of the best. But I had to go through a lot of headaches, heartaches, and everything. So I always say that the beginning, you always have to be in a relationship. I hate when people go in relationships only been through like one or two relationships before, because at the end of the day, you got to get those heartaches and those headaches, because those heartaches and headaches will go away, and then when you meet the right one, then you'll know. But it's tough. Relationship is very, very tough. I don't know how people do it.
Especially dating now.
Oh, especially dating now.
Oh my gosh.
Now it is everything digital.
The absolute worst.
Everything's very digital right now. Tinder, what is it? They got Tinder, Hinge. They got all those
Bumble.
Now Facebook having their little dating game.
Oh my God.
It's tough. I feel so bad for people who dating.
Pray for me, because I'm telling you, I go out on dates and I be like, you know what? Being single ain't that bad. Like, I don't even think I want to do it. You know what I mean?
Yes. The funny thing is, being single is not that bad, because usually if you have the right person, they'll just all of a sudden magically just come to light. Because these dates are crazy. And you think the guys are worse? The girls are the worst. They are the worst.
See, I can't condone that. I can't condone that.
Because I don't know if you know or not, but the girls, they're tough. they're tough.
I mean, yeah, I can kind of see that.
I remember I had a bad date. I went on a date and I bought everything. I was lavish. I gave her the flowers and everything like that, and I thought it was a great date. Every 5 seconds she goes to the bathroom. I was like, okay, she must have a good bladder problem. Must be a bladder problem. I can't. Then she made her friend come over. I was like, so you had your friend here all the time just watching us? I was like, what is going on here? And I'm thinking, I'm like, damn, I'm really doing bad or something. This lady, I tell you, she told me she went on like 10 dates beforehand. So I'm thinking it must be, she used to go on dates just to get the drinks. I really think so. It's bad. It's bad out there. So I'm so thankful I have someone. I am so thankful I have someone.
Hold on to that, because oh my God.
Because I don't know how people do it. The dates thing, too much.
I went out on a date not too long ago. Yeah, not too long ago. We'll leave it at that, because depending on who it is, that's cool. So not too long ago, right? But we went out. We're having dinner, and we're sitting there talking or whatever, and everything was good at first. And he's like, so what do you do? I go through that. And I was like, oh, I'm a creator of a podcast. He was like, so what do you talk about? So we're talking about all that. And then I hear the first hint of misogyny. This was exactly what he said. He's like, I don't know too many female podcasters who really do good anyway.
Damn.
So, what's your, right? I'm like,
not even supportive already.
I'm like, you could have pretended.
Right? Yeah, at least women podcast is the best podcast in the world.
So, come on, engage me. Just
like Lisa, he should have did. He should have went on his Spotify. Just at least listen to 5 seconds of it. Like, look at that.
See, all I needed was, okay, that's nice. You know what I'm saying? I didn't need the whole women podcasters don't do so well. So I was like, okay. I didn't even know what to say after that.
Jeez.
You just find so many. Then I had one guy that I was talking to. He was like, yeah. He's like, I was like, so what are you doing this weekend? He's like, I think I'm going to go out. And you know what I'm saying? It's a friend I have coming in town. We haven't seen each other in a while. I was like, oh, really? Where'd you guys meet? He's like, we were together for 6 years. Wow.
Ooh,
so you still...
Whoa.
So you're still entertaining your ex. You know what? I'm good. It's always something. Jeez. I'm like, never mind. So yeah.
Nah.
Dating is
whoa.
Ill.
What is good? People, at least they honest. At least they honest.
They are. I can get them that. She could have lied.
At least they honest. Are you gonna listen to the DMX versus Snoop Dogg versus?
Oh, definitely. I definitely want to see how that's going to turn out. I'm actually rooting for X.
Me too. A lot of people saying Snoop Dogg's going to win by a landslide, but for some reason,
I don't see how. I really don't see how.
Think about Snoop Dogg. Snoop Dogg has a lot of hits, and I think people forget that. He had Dr. Dre hits. He had with Tupac hits. He even had an Eminem hit for some reason. He has a lot of hits.
He does. Snoop does have a lot of hits, and you know what I mean? But when you think about it, even with that, like during the time of like DMX, Rough Riders, all of them though, that's what was mainly popping. I think I can maybe remember 2 or 3 Snoop Dogg songs around that song, but DMX, that hit different.
DMX hit differently.
Actually, fact,
I don't know.
Like
DMX is a whole different ball game, though. I tell you.
I know. I was kind of surprised that they put those two up against each other anyway.
Yeah, DMX should have probably went out versus some New York cat. That's what I think. I don't know about the whole West Coast world because Snoop Dogg's been out. Probably Snoop Dogg, if you think about it, probably got a good 6-7 years ahead of him before DMX was really popping.
True.
So it's going to be a tough one.
So that's going to be very interesting to see because we got 2 different parts of hip hop, really.
Oh yeah.
Like DMX was a whole era in himself, as was Snoop Dogg. So I feel like they should have put somebody different up against those 2. I don't know. We'll see how that goes.
Yeah, we'll see how that goes. I think it's actually starting right now too. I think it was.
Oh really?
Oh, yeah, it's at 8:00. Oh well, you're probably a little different, but I believe it's at 8. But it's on Apple. It's on Apple Music right now too, so you can kind of refresh it. But you know what? Yeah. I love this conversation. This was actually a good conversation. So, when you gonna have your podcast? I'm gonna be on your podcast featured as well, right?
Yes. So we're gonna do that episode this Sunday. It's gonna be more of a panel discussion. So that's gonna be interesting because I don't know how the other co-stars are going to be. So this is it's just gonna come out the bag. We just gonna see what happens.
Yeah, I'm gonna be part of your podcast. Is it Journey for the Black Elephant? I love that title. I'll tell you, I love that title.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate that.
Should have came up with it myself. I didn't even thought about that. You ever saw a good title? I'm like, God damn it.
Damn. Or see some real dope cover art.
Right? Right. I see the car. I was like, God damn it. Over here trying to save money.
Facts. I was like, I didn't even think about doing something like that.
Yeah, right? I see him. I was like, you're on Instagram. You're not on Instagram yet, right?
Oh, no, we're actually not. We're in the back and forth about if we're going to hop over to the Instagram world or not. Probably not no time soon.
Yeah, I'm on Instagram, and I can tell you one thing about Instagram. You see a lot of people try to put their ads on your stuff, of like the artworks and trying to get followers. So you be warned about the ads.
Okay.
So you'll be tough.
I don't know. We're definitely thinking of ways to kind of branch out a little more.
Yep.
And we keep getting to Instagram, and I'm like, let's come back to that. So we'll see. We'll see.
So tell the viewers where they can follow you on for your podcast.
So we are on Facebook, The Journey of a Black Elephant. We are also on Twitter, and that's at the JOAE podcast. And as far as listening, we're on Apple, Spotify, iHeart, and Google Podcasts as well.
Yeah, I'll listen to her. She's one of, I tell you, a lot of good conversations. So that is about does it. Again, for all our listeners, welcome back. For all our new listeners, thank you for joining us. Okay, we are out of here.